Welcome to the 52nd Annual Bankers Awards Ceremony. It's in cooperation between Woodward County Conservation District, the Natural Resource Conservation Service, and our sponsoring banks of Woodward County. Our sponsoring banks this year are the Bank of Western Oklahoma, the Stock Exchange Bank, Bank 7, First American Bank, Central National Bank of Enid, and Central National Bank of Alva, and we really appreciate their underwriting this program. Woodward County Conservation District Board Directors are Meade Ferguson, Elmer Maddox, Jerry Hunter, Kirk Darnell, and Dwayne Mote. The Woodward County Conservation District staff is made up of Bill Cobalt, Tracy Jones, Sherry Nelson, and J.T. Winters. The technical service of NRCS in the Woodward County office is provided by Stanley Irving, the District Conservationist, Ray Hinojosa, Soil Conservationist, and Kevin Morehart, Soil Technician. The district cooperators receiving awards this year are Tommy Rodell, Wesley Cahoe, Rick Wilson, and Dennis Stott for their conservation efforts on their land. Our first recipient is Tommy and Terry Rodell, who live 6.5 miles north of Moreland. Tommy is an avid outdoorsman, and Terry decorates their home with the elk and fish that Tommy has hunted or caught. The Rodells have 2 daughters, Tanya of Las Vegas, Nevada, and Tracy, who's married to Wes Miller of Alva. Tommy is proud of the shelter belt around their home that he planted many years ago. Tommy has cleared the cedar trees on his upland pastures to provide more grass for his livestock. He has also cut cedars in his canyons. Tommy and Terry have found an added value of cedars by adding on to their home with lumber from their own land. But Tommy, let it be known, is committed to keeping cedars under control by cutting them by hand. With NRCS's technical help, Tommy constructed a dam in a canyon to control erosion and to provide water for livestock and recreation. He put in a livestock freeze-proof waterer on the backside of the dam. Tommy fenced off the dam and the canyon to establish a wildlife habitat area. Tommy has planted lovegrass on his sandy soils and enjoys grazing and haying the grass. Tommy maintains a valuable shelter belt for wind erosion control and wildlife habitat on the land. The wildlife also uses his native grassland planting on CRP acres. Wesley and Rachel Cahoe live 8 miles south of Moreland. They have 3 wonderful children, Rayleigh, Cowley, and Rylan, that liveling up their rural home. Wes is one of our younger cooperators that believes in conservation on the ground. Around his homestead, Wes has a shelter belt of trees. He has also sprigged Bermuda grass to have grazing for his livestock and to control erosion on his ground around the house. With NRCS's technical help, Wes has constructed a new waterway across one of his fields to handle the runoff from heavy rains. He has also constructed and maintained terraces and diversion terraces on his land to control erosion. Because of the technology improvement in no-tillage farming, Wes keeps up with the latest tools to save time and do the best job farming. Wes sprays his own land and uses deep ripping to catch rain and a new tool that leaves residue on the surface. Wes no-tills with his air seeder, and he just finished planting corn in a no-till sunflower field. Wes integrates his operation by grazing cattle on his wheat and grass. This wheat pasture field is being planted back to native grass. The cattle are all standing around the grass drills that are fixing to plant the grass on the grazed out wheat. Wes has constructed some pens to conveniently work his livestock and to feed them as they're prepared to be moved to grass or wheat pasture. Wes has also cleared cedars on his land to improve grazing. Some of the piles he's left for wildlife habitat. Our next recipient is Rick and Tammy Wilson, who live 1 mile west of Sharon. They have 3 children. Nikki is a junior at Sharon Mutual High School, and Mom and Dad attended the junior and senior prom this year as sponsors. Nikki enjoys showing livestock at the stock shows. Sons Joey and Clint cleaned up good when they heard we were coming with the camera, and we cannot leave out grandson Crispin. Rick and Joy operate a tree cutting service, and a mammoth cutter they have. But just for a quick second, we can't leave out Stephanie, who brings meals to the field while Joy runs the saw. Back to the saw, the blade is a couple inches thick and hardly slows down on any tree. Rick is clearing his own land of cedar trees to get more grazing for his livestock. As Joy operates the cutter, he can cut and carry off a tree as big as those that grow in western Oklahoma. To help improve his grazing, NRCS has helped Rick design and implement a watering system that includes a pipeline to a new water tank to distribute grazing. Rick has also begun cross-fencing his pastures to rotate his grazing to cut down on winter feeding and to improve his pastures. To help improve his pastures more and to keep the cedars under control, Rick has constructed fire guards to aid in his controlled burns of his pastures. And he does burn. Here are pictures of Rick with the help of his sons and neighbors, burning his brush piles and unwanted shrubs and old grass to make way for new grass this year. Dennis and Betty Stipe. They live 6 miles northwest of Mutual. They have 2 sons, Michael, who lives in Woodward, and Jason, who lives in Stillwater. As you enter the Stipes property, you are welcomed with his welding art and a well-established shelter belt that extends all the way down to their home. Dennis has a diversified operation that includes wheat and alfalfa. Dennis also runs cattle on his native grass and wheat pasture with a nice herd of Angus cows. He has built watering facilities from NRCS specifications that include pipelines and watering tanks to distribute his livestock grazing. Sturdy corrals that Dennis constructed makes sorting, working, and weaning his calves more efficient. Dennis uses cross-fencing to diversify his grazing. With a creek running through his property and at times it flooding, he has constructed and continues to maintain diversion terraces to control erosion. Dennis is also continuing to improve his grazing and wildlife habitat by planting new native grass pastures and sprigging Bermuda in his bottomlands. Being an avid outdoorsman, Dennis is constantly improving his land for wildlife habitat. And if you happen by at the right time of year, you might get in on picking apples from his orchard. I want to remind all of you that NRCS and the Conservation District have programs that you can participate in, like the Environmental Quality Incentive Program, the Wildlife Habitat Incentive Program, Grassland Reserve Program, Wetlands Reserve Program, Conservation Stewardship Program, Farm and Ranch Land Program, the Emergency Watershed Protection Program, and annually we have a state cost share program. Come by our office at 3300 Oklahoma Avenue, Suite 800, and visit with NRCS or district personnel. This concludes our program, and we appreciate y'all coming and celebrating with us the conservation work that our 4 families have put on their land. And we appreciate the support of the banks that they will award the awardees with a certificate, and the conservation districts will present a sign to all awardees. Thank you.